I probably won't be doing this for very long because it is already dawn again. I never learn, but I wanted to. Let me turn off this reverb. I wanted to thank everyone. I just had a really wonderful stream, and the feedback and everything is really amazing. If you ever need any specific information, if I shall have it, I will give it to you. I will try to connect with what we did on our stream earlier. We will focus on scale practice, maybe for quite some time. I find scale practice leads to the best results. Because it will just open up everything for us. So we will be practicing our blues, and we will create little backing and comping tracks so we can practice and write and improvise. If you do have a sequencer, it is very powerful to create your own backing track, so to speak. And I'm not quite sure what's wrong with Twitch. I see that I'm getting some issues connecting to Twitch. That shouldn't be too important at the moment. It's unfortunate maybe, but I'll see to it that I'll make this short and somewhat concise, just to outline the ideas that we can have. We will start with a blues in G flat minor, E flat minor, with a very familiar chromatic walk down. What is a chromatic walk down? Well, it is going down the scale just chromatically. And because we are stuck in the zeitgeist of 4/4, it will sound something like this. Think about a triad in E flat minor, and we will always substitute the root with the next lower note. That will be our chromatic walk down. And in a second, you will find you have heard this all your life. Most likely before you were able to say your first word, your brain knew this pattern. We're going to stick with quarter notes because I'm allergic to click. And it gets too hectic, and we want to focus on harmonies first. We will get to practicing 8 notes, swung 8 notes, triplets, and all the good funky fancy stuff later once we have established an outline. So to do this again slowly without a click, we can create a fast and simple blues, at least for comping that is, just by a little and nice beautiful chromatic walk down, like this. E flat minor, we substitute always just the lowest note. And if we do this with 2 hands, we will only use our left hand to play octaves that double the chromatic walk down. So our right hand will just play the triad, and with our other hand we will just double our root note in 1, heard this forever and ever and ever, and it's still good. It's just a bread and butter thing. Now you know, don't you know? Ain't no gold that glitters in the dark. Let me put some reverb around so it doesn't hurt as much to hear me singing in this dry as template. So, where to do our don't you? Of course, I still have no lyrics again. You think of the lyrics yourself. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. We're gonna do this counting. Maybe that's better, and it helps. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Okay, let's do this a little bit with. We could also do a couple of other versions that will free us up. For instance, I need to turn this reverb down. But I better stick to explaining and not singing. We just count. We don't sing. So if we try to have other options for this, let's find. Oh, good. Now Twitch is working. I was worried why it wasn't. Hi guys, again, guys and girls. Let's make an inversion of that. Let's take the first inversion. E flat minor over G. How would our chromatic walk down look now? Actually, it's much easier to play for us now. We have switched from doing the walk down with our weak finger, which is not bad, and actually also it's kind of good because it is for real the lowest note, but just to have an equivalent or other approach for this, let us play something almost identical, just in a different voicing. So instead of playing 1, 2, 3, and 4, we will play this in the first inversion. What does it look like? 1, 2, 3. That's root position. That's our first inversion. This is our second inversion, and then next inversion, we are back at root position for our try, that is. So let's make our chromatic walk down in first inversion. That's root position, now first inversion. Now our top note is the walking down note. And also that is very common. I did play them straight, but more often than not, the progression will probably be played counting every chord for 2/4 notes, like 1, 1, 2, 3, dum, dum, dum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Let's do this again with our second inversion. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. What's the next one? It would look like now our walking note is in the middle. as an umpa rhythm. We are going to pivot. We are on the tonic. That is our one, or our and count. Exactly, that's our and count. We start the umpa on the and. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Like whatever this is, we can make up so many melodic runs that we have heard blues and soul and R&B singers cry their souls out. We have heard B.B. King and his weeping guitar, Lucille doing a million takes and inflections, bends, trills going in between. One and a two and a three and a four. And next inversion. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. How can we spice this up? Let's try to make this with seven chords. Okay? So what 7 chords would we want? How about some 7s? And probably we should play this. 7th chord may not be that appropriate as I'm thinking about it right now. We could play it differently. Let's stick to our triads, but we will double our octave. We could also play it like so. Depending on how big your hands are, I'm kind of pretty average size. Like I'm 1.75 meters. I have average kind of big hands. I can play an octave. I can play in 9s. 10s is already a stretch that I can probably not really play an intricate passage with. It is not really there. I would have to cheat with paddling or helping with my other hand. Depending on the size of your hands, find a fingering or a method that might work better. Let's play this in nice, easy, simple octaves. Just a little bit. Just the left hand a little bit. And maybe we could get to incorporate our right hand fast enough, okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 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 That is the flow of this. Ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-da. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-da. And the brain is so cool because the brain always just wants more and more interesting things. You already notice when I'm trying to kind of replicate these melodic runs, I already throw in a couple of subdivision. Ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum. We already have a swung note, we have a triplet, and that will just flow in sooner or later because your ear and your heart and your soul, they all want these variations. Variations are everything. Start with a very basic idea and ever so slightly just switch it up. Okay, again. Okay, let's do this again, but now we want not octaves in our right hand. We want to start building a melodic lick, or we want to start to build a repertoire to make up licks and have modular licks. It is good scale exercise. It's good for your weak fingers, and it is good for just writing. You will find that with the blues scale, there's a million licks, a million motives. It's all right there in just 5 notes. Like, seriously. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, maybe 6. Okay. Let's record a simple idea. Octaves, chromatic walk down. Big block chords. Down, down, and a 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1. Down, down, bam. Simple. 1. We can also do it other way. We could. But I like them held. Because I would probably do a little bit faster runs, am I right? And then I don't want too much staccato going on. Now we stay on stationary on the left hand with E flat minor with an octave, and we will just go up and down the blues scale until we feel bored or until we find a lick. Sorry. And also these trills. Blues has a lot of trills. Or maybe I stretch this a little bit out, but this happens. Unfortunately, the keyboard is at its end. Imagine I just had played an octave. Sorry, I wasn't listening very well to the click at the end. If you practice with a click, take it serious or take the click off. Because it is good practice to practice with and without click. Often I joke, if you don't practice with a click, it's not practice. Yes, it is. And actually, it is very important also not to practice without a click. I think it can open up tremendously the feel aspect, because very often when we practice with the metronome, especially when we are not when we're not already quite confident with our material, it can be a little bit butchery. We will make just sure we will hit the notes, but it's not only important to play the right note. It's important to play the right note right. Is it too loud? Is it too fast? You know what I mean? Like, because this is E flat minor, that too, but they are not the same just by loudness. How loud is a note in relation to the other note? Do I hear the root the most? Do I hear the top note the most? Actually, this is probably one of the more difficult things to achieve at a piano, and something that you probably should refrain from practicing on a controller like this. You will hurt yourself and you will mess up your technique. These controllers have no weighted action. If you do want to practice super intricate articulation, make sure you have graded hammer. You must have graded hammer keyboard action to really go crazy. It's not to say yet that you cannot practice piano, but do not go too crazy over the perfect articulation if you have a keyboard controller that has key switches like an 80s typing keyboard, because many have incredibly terrible action. I would say probably all the keyboards out there, even the greatest MIDI controllers, have weight keys. They're just not gonna cut it for real playing. It's good enough for writing, but if you want to play super expressively, and especially if you want to be able to replicate your articulation, because sometimes I'll play something, I'll play the notes, I'll be able to repeat the notes, but I will not very often be able to repeat the articulation, especially dynamics, because these mechanics are just not good enough to be able to be fine enough. Sometimes I feel like I'm using the same pressure, but nah, it is like 30% more louder or no. And then it jumps out and it can destroy a perfectly fine piece of music just to mess up dynamics. A chord can sound wrong if you are hacking it. Sometimes you think like, did I play a wrong note? No, you are just hacking these keys in a way that made everything sound like it has been smashed together by a brick wall compressor. And also, you can be a little bit more thinking, that is if you don't have a click, to play a little bit more free meter. Think much more, how does it make you feel? Stay on the notes where you want to stay. Linger. Wait, don't rush. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Like I'm messing up the timing on purpose, being a little bit ahead, being a little bit slower. Like, think of it like telling a story. Every day and you wait. You can do also kind of call and response with yourself. Every day 2, 3, 4. I've been waiting by the phone. Da, ba, ba. But you don't call him no more. I said, you don't call here no more. You know what I mean? Like, you can really do whatever the hell you please. I just love the blues note. The blues note is always like, we could just play this forever. We have heard this so many times. Ooh, I'm off. Where am I? Maybe I should look. Maybe I'll make some mistakes, but I'll kind of try to close my eyes and feel. Because believe in yourself. After not even too long of a time, trust your hands. They are wonderful. Your hands know stuff that you don't know consciously. They've always been there. That's the only reason why we're still here. Oh, sorry. That was kind of terrible, seriously. a little couple of grace notes and trying to connect a little of things here and there. But most of all, we're really just playing one chord and 5 other notes that are not always different. We're playing 1, 2. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I'm going a little bit out of my way and a little bit too creative. So, to keep this a little bit more confined, let's do this again. We just play octaves left, octaves right. But down, but down, but down, down. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I misplayed that chord. Absolutely. Okay, if you're wondering what the hell I'm doing with this, the G is just a grace note for a trill. Da da da. Very often, the blues is actually a modal mixture. The blues, very often with its slides and trills, will be flip-flopping between the minor mode of it and the major mode. And that also leads to the very characteristic tension that we find in the blues. It's not necessarily sad, but it's also not necessarily happy. The blues is a weird kind of super interesting feeling in between that lives in both worlds. It's neither major nor minor. At least, yes, I know you can play a major blues, you can play a minor blues, but more often than not, the most interesting blues does a lot of modal interchange. And one way of this modal interchange would be this trill. Like, if we are just looking at our scale, if we take it religiously, we don't have this note. We don't have a G in there. But where does this G come from? This G comes from the major blues of E flat. This is our minor blues in E flat. What does our major blues look like? Ooh, I misplayed that. I'm misplaying that so bad. Give me 1 second. Somehow my brain just froze. So how do you construct a major blues scale? Take the tonic, you take the second, you take a minor third, you take the major third, take the fifth and the sixth. So let's replicate that. We got the 1, we got the 2. The E flat major blues, and I'm a little bit ashamed that it took me so long. It's probably the first scale that I learned because I was playing, I think 3 years I was only playing C minor. So this is where we get this note from. We're sliding to the major blues with this somehow. I mean, just listen to this. This is major third. Guess it's major. Okay, let's do this again. I kind of hyper-focused onto something, and now I lost a little bit of my focus. We want to create a backing track that will help us to learn and practice blues. So today we are in G flat major and E flat minor. We will look at the blues scale as in major, also in minor. We will be looking at the various modes that are more common, and we will make up some little exercises where we'll create some licks, learn fingerings, invent a little motive here and there, and also make a little backing track, mock-up recording. So, because the worst thing that could possibly happen to us is if we cannot practice with joy, because practice can be the nicest thing. Practice could be a jam. And if you do have a sequencer, I invite you to create your own jam session. And one dum bum bum ba dum bum 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 ba dum bum 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 ba dum da dum bum ba dum bum ba 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 and 1 da bum ba dum. Little break. Dum dum ba dum bum ba dum. Bum ba dum, bum ba dum, bum ba dum. Oh Lord, I woke up this morning and it was oh so cold. Still sitting in my armchair, the empty bottle that I hold. Oh, don't worry about me, I'm just making up generic lyrics. And kind of something simple like that is enough to start practicing a whole lot of stuff on top. So now we have this outline. What does it scream like if we think about it? How can we make this more interesting? If we say, I want to practice guitar because I don't play guitar very well, we are kind of now already confined to our harmonies. Let's do something with some strings, because I can hear these vintage strings weeping and screaming. You know, the good old blues. We will be playing mostly like paddle. I will not be switching to portray the notes of the strings because they will be playing most of the same note material. Okay, let's try to keep it simple. We probably are just going to do what strings mostly do. We will be following along, playing a pedal in octaves. Okay. I'll let it breathe a little bit. And maybe a little around here and there. Okay, the end was a little bit uncalled for, but you get the idea. We start with something very simple, with an outline, with a shell. Just 3 simple notes. What did we do to it? We doubled the octave. And then what did we do next? We are just walking down our root note. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we are already set with our harmonies. It is the courtesy of the chromatism, which makes voice leading kind of like a breeze. Because what easier way to voice lead than going chromatic? Not that you should do it all the time, but if you're having trouble connecting chords, try a chromatic approach. You will be surprised how obvious and easy it is. So, we have some Zulu vintage strings going on, doing whatever. I wish I didn't do what I did at the end. We can always delete that, but just let's start sinking and breathing this blues feeling and finding motives and licks that we can mix and build and interchange with one another. Let's listen back to what we have, and then we will think if we have some gaps, what other instruments could we be putting in here? And also, if you're not working with a digital audio workstation and you are an instrumentalist like me, you don't need a DAW or anything. It is helpful because recording your practice is very helpful, but you could also do this. At least I'm looking from the key player perspective. You could do this just with an acoustic piano also. What other elements do we know that are making up blues? Okay, it's not maybe just the blues, but what do we hear often? Call and response phrases. How could we start making an arrangement or writing licks and motive that feel like A and B section, call and response? Let's noodle a little bit and try to find a couple licks here and there. So we are going back to our chromatic walk down in our left hand for comping. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. So, what kind of blues licks and phrases could we make up? Let's just do the blues scale first as is, and then we'll chop it up wherever we feel like. In groups of 2 and 3 and whatever, and you will find, ooh, I've heard this melody. That's how they made it. Yeah, nobody is really that inventive ever. Or for instance, let's just think right hand. Lord have mercy. Blah, 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 blah. Da, 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 da. Or that would be like really the beginning. Like one part is just going up and down the scales, starting and stopping. Like da, ba, ba, ba. We could say this is our call A. What's call B? 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 5, da, ba, ba, ba. And that already, we are just using the scale. And just by saying, okay, I'm just taking a line here, and this will be my first half. Thinking like 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's remain on our 1. How do we group this expression? We're starting on E flat. 1 and 2, 3. 1 and 2, 3. Of course, you could make a different rhythm, but it would be very common as a rhythm. 1 and 2, 3. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba, ba, ba. These triplets and swung 8 notes is what it does, is where we get this feeling from. We could do it differently. We could just play. It's okay, but usually the syncopation, dum ba da pa, and the waiting on the syncopation, that is where we're leaning in, where we want to. Where's the next chord? Give me the next chord. You know what I mean? Like we're waiting on this. And the cool thing is also we are stopping on one of the blue note, because when we're looking at it, what is A to E flat? It's a tritone. The tritone is the quintessential blue note. The tritone, the devil's note, how they used to call it, the tritone is one of the funky ones. Like, and there we have it too. Like, we could just go. Yes, okay. But then we have just gone up and down the scale in legato. Everything has the same sound and volume and dynamic. Nothing breathes, nothing lives. But let's do this again with just a little bit of extra and randomness. And like, I've been waiting, of course, a little bit longer than I normally would have. But just to give you an idea how free you can really be, especially when playing solo instrument. There's nothing really wrong or right. Feel it out until your hands and ears and fingers seem to want to just continue on their own with much effort and thinking. I kind of stopped on a really, really odd one here. But we could use this as a turnaround point. Okay, let's do this again. We will play a little bit more structured, nothing too fancy. We might just play octaves and big block chords and layer. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I need to practice too. Who would have thought? Okay, let's do this. There's so many ways, infinite ways of connecting all this. Just a question of what you like to do. So, for instance, to make this, to come back here, where we have our strings, not that they make too much sense, but we can still use this part to keep building on our backing track. Let's add some brass. And unfortunately, it's not too important for us right now because we're syncing mostly harmonies and learning the scale and how we can use it and be creative with it. But I wish I had recorded the mod wheel for dynamics. Now it may be that we have some, I already see some notes will be poking very bad. Like here, these notes are super loud. And that's why we delete them. Like we could start thinking about, how can we incorporate a brass section in here? Of course, doing the same thing we did before. Okay. Okay, let's. Okay, let's deactivate this click. Ow. Yeah, the string's loud. Strings is loud. Sorry. Strings too loud. And let's find some typical kind of blues. Is it loud? It's loud. That's why I don't hear the reverb. I'm deaf. Don't ask me what I do on the guitar. I'll just try to make it work. I wish I had spent at least a fraction of the time I spent with the piano and guitar. I'm regretting that now. Oops. Oh, God damn it. I'm in tuning mode. Oh, that hurts. Let's turn that off until it's tuned. Nobody needs to listen to an untuned guitar at 5:45 in the morning. What am I thinking? I can't sustain this. This is insane. Oops, almost lost the guitar. Maybe the guitar is at its ends there, but you get the idea. I'm quite sure. And I forgot to loop this section because we wanted to stay only here. That's where we want to be. And that is the story of the blues. But I need to hit the deck. It's early. We will continue this. Happy practice, happy creating. Stay funky, just groove it. Don't mess up your sleeping schedule like I do. The sun is your best friend. Make sure you are awake to meet the sun. Summer is short, at least where I am. And if you sleep in the day, you miss all the energy that's for free. That would be sad. Long story short, catch you next time. Stay funky.